so.
Yeah, nah, it's all down there.
Good. You get to see it or just spread it out?
Nah, I'm doing that tomorrow.
Brian, it's nice.
Yeah, the Venetian blind wasn't as much fun as the
Oh my goodness, look at his super background. You're in a fish tank.
Okay, Maren, you are good to go.
All right, guys, we have Brian in from underwater, so we're ready to go. We should be quick and efficient. We have 2 items on the agenda. Can you roll call us, madam?
Chair Lindstrom,
Here.
Mr. Williams,
Here.
Mr. Jones. Here. Mr. Buckbinder,
here.
Mr. Zarowski,
Here.
Mr. Pinsky,
Here.
and no Miss Maloney. Okay.
All right, so first on the docket is site plan, and should we do the pledge allegiance?
Who's got a flag?
Hold on. Hold on.
I have
my baby flag.
Okay.
I was like, I have a pillow.
Problem is, am I the right way?
Yeah.
Good enough?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
All
flag is.
right, guys. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag.
of the United States
United
of
States of
America
America.
and to the
To the
republic
republic for which
and
It
one
stands
nation,
under
Yeah.
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
with liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
like it's in sense around. Okay, first on the docket is site plan special use approval. This is for the new diner. It's decision 2020-2. Everybody got in their mail today the latest renderings and site plan. The key thing here is not the exact true color of the rendering, but we have the pitched roof that we asked for in the last meeting. And if you go on the site plan, you can see there's a building color schedule that's been added, so you know the colors. So the exterior will be harvest wheat color, your roof is slate gray, and the trim is metal and it's Avalon blue. So that was really the only thing we had outstanding. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
Yeah, I guess, I know I was at the last meeting, Maren, but maybe I was half asleep. It's possible. I thought we had talked about that what we wanted in the roof was what was similar, it was something similar to what was across the street at the, where the gas station and the laundromat was.
No, we wanted not to do that.
We wanted
Because
not to do that.
We
Did I
wanted
get
not to
that?
do that because we're trying to upgrade
So this is what
stock
we're,
to be something more along those lines. Yep.
It was a paradoxical comment, Rick, from the Ulster County. They said they wanted us to follow our code of having it be more like the neighbors without realizing that the neighbors were less like what
We
they
would, exactly.
we wanted. So it
But I
was like
missed
a little
something.
bit of a
course.
back.
too late. I guess too late now, but I like this more than the other.
Okay, before you and Zorian before were saying that you hated the blue roof. So there's no go backs now.
No, I
There's no
hated the
default.
color that was given to us.
No, I didn't say it. I didn't say that. One thing I found in the code for commercial, I don't have it open in front of me, that continuous roof is discouraged. So I thought, what if above each window to add a little A-shape?
They have
or
something above
or-
each window, guys. They have a little
No, I
gable
mean
above each
on
window.
the roof,
and the
on the roof.
The continuous is for a longer roof line.
Right. I realize it says 100 feet applied when its roof is 100 feet. So, but
Yeah, I think that we did discuss this at the last meeting, and we did all state very clearly that we did not want to override what the county was saying. And The applicant said that they'd only designed the roof this way to match the PX and the sort
Exactly.
of vacant coin op laundry and pawn shop. And then we all heartily agreed that we thought a pitched roof would be better, which they've now done. So I feel like this discussion has sort of already been had.
I'm agreeing with Sam wholeheartedly. We're
Okay.
not redoing this, guys. You're not redoing a redo. You had your chance the last time. So outside of that, they did
Last
everything
time we
we asked
didn't
for
see
last
it.
time. I think we're ready for a decision.
Let's go.
Ready, set, go. All right, so this is decision 2020-02, special use and site plan approval, conditional approval for Willingham Engineering, owner William Caffaro, even though I want to say the I all the time, doing business as the property of William Caffaro. The proposal was the construction of a 1,250 square foot deli with drive-through capabilities. The existing parcel is vacant, partially asphalted lot. It's located at 6122 New York State County Route 209, and it's SBL 76.1-3-33. It's on 1.3 acres. It's in the B Business Zoning District and fronts Route 209. To go to the findings. Planning Board received a zoning referral for a fast food drive-through and deli style service restaurant located at 6122 New York State County Route 209. Applicant proposes a restaurant offering drive-through ordering and pickup in the front of the restaurant and deli access with limited seating through the rear of the restaurant. Site previously served as a diner, the Rainbow Diner, and presently is a vacant, partially asphalted parcel with a right-of-way to an interior parcel passing along the north-northeastern lot line. Contiguous parcels are commercial and residential. Contiguous parcels are zoned AR3 residential agriculture, 3 acre B business, and H hamlet. Planning Forum further received a site plan special use application, EAF sketch and site plans and related documents from the applicant cited above. Parcel is SBL 76.1-3-33. Parcel has road frontage in County Route 209, New York State Department of Transport maintained highway. The applicant contacted and met with the DOT to discuss safety, ingress and egress onto Route 209 and internal traffic flow for the drive-through ordering and pickup. DOT requested limited entrance widths, curb cuts, and limiting the southern access to exit only, with the northern access point remaining a two-way entrance and exit point. DOT final approval for the driveway and a driveway permit shall be a condition of approval. Parcel is in the B zoning district and the use complies with the standards of such district. The board requested overlay of the site plan and aerial photo-based map. We have a drawing in the corner. The board determined the action was I need to change, would be a seeker unlisted. We just determined type 2, and Mary Lou said do unlisted, uncoordinated action, and a negative declaration was determined. What was our last meeting date? July.
No,
was
August 10th.
August 10th.
August 10th.
On August 10th, exactly. Was determined, and a negative declaration was made on Aug 10. The applicant proposes a restaurant offering drive-through ordering pickup in the front of the restaurant and deli access with limited seating through the rear of the restaurant. Outdoor seasonal seating at picnic tables is proposed. The use shall be compliant with all articles of 140-20 General Commercial Industrial Standards as a condition of approval. Building design. The applicant proposed a variety of roofing and detailing and architectural renderings. The board ultimately decided with the applicant on a simple gable roof with facades meeting the criteria of 140-20B. Parking. The applicant proposes 10 parking spaces, inclusive of 1 ADA compliant parking space. As the proposed use is split between commercial food prep and takeout service, limited seating area of 300 square feet, the parking requirements further are split between commercial and restaurant parking requirements. Applicant requested and was granted by vote a waiver from the full commercial parking requirements, as the board determined this would be an excessive amount of parking, and the parking shall serve the 300 square feet of limited seating, not the total square footage of the structure. A bicycle rack is provided and indicated on the site plan. Parking shall otherwise meet the standards of 140-14. A lighting plan, photometric plan, and lighting tear sheets were provided by the applicant. Average foot candle illumination of the property lines are shown on the photometric plan and below the required 1 foot candle limit. Proposed driveway and parking lighting is shown. Additional to entrance and structurally mounted lighting. All proposed lighting is fully shielded, dark sky compliant, and meets 140-20H lighting requirements. Signs. The main sign is proposed to be an interior illuminated sign located center line to the restaurant, 6 foot in height and 7 feet 6 inches in width, and located within the planter bed of a 20-foot landscaping strip along the roadway. Interior wayfaring, drive-through order panel, and I should stop there. Did you guys, did you eliminate the drive-through order panel entirely?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
you did? That's what I thought, so I should take that. That's what I thought you did. Interior wayfaring and restricted area sign is indicated in the site plan to direct traffic for the drive-through queue and to indicate required ingress, egress from Route 209. Signage examples were provided by the applicant. Board determined the proposed signage would be sufficient for traffic and pedestrian management and safety. Board requested the applicant agreed that the illuminated main site sign would remain illuminated only during operation hours for the proposed restaurant as a condition of approval. Sound noise, the town has no noise ordinance. However, 140-20F General Commercial Industrial Standards of the Town of Rochester Zoning Code addresses sound standards for any newly proposed use of a parcel. The board determined the proposed use will cause a low to non-existent increase in noise at the periphery of the property, and the sound will be compliant with 140-20. Landscaping. Proposed landscaping emphasizes the use of native plantings and the schedule of materials to be used and locations provided by the site plan. A grass lawn area is provided in the rear of the restaurant for seasonal outdoor dining on picnic tables. Initial site plan did not include the required 20-foot landscaping strip for parcels fronting Route 209 with 1 deciduous tree per 35 linear feet. This was added to the revised site plan. Dumpster and mechanical locations and screening are indicated on the site plan. The board determined the landscaping plan complies with Town Code 140-15 for landscaping. Water, wastewater, and well. Existing septic has been reviewed by the Department of Health. The applicant is working with DOH to determine best siting and site size for the well and septic. DOH approval of water and septic shall be a condition of approval, and Department of Health approval shall further be required for the restaurant use. Parcel contains a right-of-way to an interior parcel behind the proposed restaurant. The right-of-way extends along the periphery of the northeastern property line. The current condition has a gravel driveway, which is indicated on the site plan, used as the right-of-way. The applicant proposes keeping the gravel driveway right-of-way use as is, but to leave the legal right-of-way undeveloped in the case of the use that it is used in the future. Public hearing was held on the 10th of 2020, August 10th. All public concerns, observations, and support were duly taken into consideration by the planning board in drafting its decision. The application was required to be referred to the Ulster County Planning Board, which returned with the comments addressed in the following section. The draft findings were prepared by the chairman, were read, discussed, and amended in public meeting by the planning board. We are in public meeting. Does anybody else have any more amendments other than those that I mentioned here?
No.
Not me.
Good.
No.
Then I would like a motion to adopt the findings.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? And absent is Anne Marie. Okay. So the Ulster County Planning Board comments were for DOT. The applicant has conceptual approval from DOT, but has not been granted final approval of the proposed access arrangement to serve the proposed site plan. Required modification is final DOT approval. The commercial driveway will be necessary. I wrote that final DOT approval of the commercial driveway shall be a condition of approval. On architecture and design, 140-21C sign review criteria notes that number 4, signs should be designed, sized, and located to blend in with buildings and landscapes. And 7, sign sizes should achieve ready visibility without becoming an unnecessary distraction. And 140-22D, general regulations. The following regulations shall apply to all signs. No part of any sign shall project above the top or beyond the ends of the wall surface on which it is located. Signs shall also not extend above the roof line of the building to which they were attached. Required modifications from the county. The town and the applicant consider alternative roof line pitches, as well as integrating the proposed roof sign into the site as a wall sign to more closely match the neighborhood's context, which predominantly consists of angled roof lines found in the area. Based on the citations from the town zoning statute, the proposed sign does not appear to conform with the requirement of the town zoning statute and therefore will need to be modified to conform to meeting the standard of the town zoning statute. Response: the roof to go sign shall be moved and placed as a wall sign on the front Route 209 facing facade of the restaurant. The applicant proposes an alternate gable pitched roof line and sign location for final site plan. Both shall be a condition of approval. I put down that the use Ulster County Planning Board required modifications, not one accepted, are accepted. Let me fix that. Are accepted and adopted August 31st, 2020 by the following vote. I would say that we have changed the roof line. They've moved the front sign, and we did say that DOT approval will be needed for final approval. I cannot remember if this is a roll call vote. We will just roll call vote it since I can't remember. Anybody else have any comments, disagreement with what I've written up there?
It's not roll call, Maren. You can just do a
I
regular
can just
vote.
do it? Okay,
Only seeker is roll call.
perfect, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to,
Aye.
first a motion to accept the
I'll make a
required
motion.
modifications.
So
I'll
moved.
second it.
Second.
All right, we've got lots of seconds. All in favor? Aye.
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 Absent is Anne Marie. All right, resolved. Pursuant to the standards of Town of Rochester Code 140 zoning, Town of Rochester Planning Board has reviewed the application presented and grants special use conditional approval to William Caffaro, owner, and Willingham Engineering applicant, permitting the new use fast food restaurant for the land situated at 6122 New York State County Route 209, known as Section Block and Lot 76.1-3-33 and located in the B Business Zoning District. Condition, subject to the conditions expressed below. And we further grant site plan conditional approval in the same way. The conditions of approval. Any and all fees due to the Town of Rochester involved in the application shall be paid in full prior to the chairman's signature on the site plan. All local, county, state, and federal laws or codes shall be complied with for the current or future uses of these lands. Any deviation from or amending of the approved and signed site plan shall require resubmission to the planning board, except as may be permitted as determined by the code enforcement officer. Any and all other agencies, permits, or approvals which are currently required or which may be determined in the future to be required in conjunction with the construction and or operation of this use shall be secured or renewed as applicable. Should any condition imposed by any other agency permits cause conditions to be in conflict, the more restrictive shall prevail. Facility owner shall specifically secure Ulster County Health Department permits for wastewater and food service and New York State Department of Transportation driveway permits before a certificate of occupancy shall be issued. Should any permit approval is necessary to change the site plan, the matter shall be referred to the planning board for consideration. The use shall comply at all times with 140-20 general commercial industrial standards and 140-10 lot development standards or their successors. Parking, access, and traffic shall remain in compliance with 140-17 at all times. Parking shall only be allowed in the spacing designated on the approved and signed site plan. Parking shall not be allowed within the public road right of way or within the restaurant access driveway or designated site plan traffic outlet at any time. And parking shall not interfere with the movement of emergency vehicles, including but not limited to fire, police, And EMT, all access driveways shall be maintained to New York State Fire Code regulations and standards. Landscaping shall be installed as shown in the site plan and remain compliant with 140-15 landscaping at all times. Lighting also shall be installed as per the specifications indicated on the site plan and narrative and shall be compliant with 140-20H at all times. All refuse, wastewater, gray water, and cooking grease shall be deposited and maintained in appropriate containers. There shall be no dumping allowed on the parcel. Signage shall comply with 140-20F signs. The main exterior illuminated sign shall be as described in the site plan. The illuminated sign shall be turned off during hours of non-operation, in between quotes, when the restaurant is closed. Pedestrian crossings, traffic management, interior wayfaring, parking, directional, and restricted area signage shall be provided as per site plan. Legal right-of-way access to the interior parcel shall remain unobstructed by structures and landscape with easily removable vegetative matter as per site plan. And the building design shall comply with the final site plan that we received today and renderings. Final site plan shall be amended to include the roof to go, signage moved to the front, roof 209 facing facade to include a gable pitched roof line and to include a design schedule of siding and roofing materials and colors. That's a condition, but they've already met that condition. The town of Rochester further grants the authority to the chairman to certify conditions 1 and 13 have been complied with without further resolution, to sign and date the plat at such time. The effect of this approval is that the site plan, special use of site plan approval and associated conditions shall be binding upon the applicant and all successive owners of the land, so long as such uses shall occur, and the approval shall remain effective as an authorization to secure the required permits and establish the uses for a maximum of 1 year from this date of approval, unless the applicant shall have submitted written request and the planning board shall have adopted such resolution granting an extension and provided the applicant has submitted proof having diligently pursued the implementation. The draft resolution was read and prepared by the chairman, read, discussed and amended by the planning board in public meeting. Any further discussion on this, guys?
Mayor, and the only comment I have is in number 12, legal right-of-way access.
Yes.
I think one of the only public comments we had at the public hearing of August 10th was from one of the residents in the back asking reassurances from the applicant that that right-of-way, the existing right-of-way, be preserved, and that was agreed to, and it's on the map.
Yep.
I'm just
So,
wondering if we should include that in number 12 in some form.
I agree with you to say legal right-of-way access to the interior parcel shall remain unobstructed by structures. How about de facto?
De facto.
De facto gravel
Existing de
drive.
facto, gravel drive.
Currently used as right-of-way.
To residential structures in the rear
Right.
will be maintained in its current condition.
I'll just do interior lot.
Okay.
Shall remain.
Yeah, remain, don't say maintain, because that is
Yeah,
something.
exactly. So I put down legal right of, I added the de facto gravel drive currently used as a right of way to interior shall remain.
That's good.
That way exactly.
So you added sentence to number 12?
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, we added sentence number 12 because they're using a non-right of way as the right of way.
No, I understand. I understand.
Yes.
I understand. I just want to make sure that I understood what you did.
Right. So that way they can keep using it basically as they have been. Okay, the effect of the approval, we already did all that. We're in discussion. Anything else? Thank you, Rick. That was a good catch. All right. Why don't we roll call this just since it's zoomed, even though we don't have to? Brianna?
You need a
Carolyn.
motion?
So what a motion, so I'll make a motion to accept
Mhm.
the draft resolution and approval.
I'll second it.
Okay, Brianna.
Chair Lindstrom,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Buckbinder,
Yes.
Mr. Sorofsky,
Yes.
Mr. Pinsky.
Yes.
All right, so Bill and Matt, you don't have to send any more renderings or any more changes of your roof line.
Thank you very much.
Thank
That's-
you very much.
I want the pitch adjusted to a 712 as opposed to.
I bet you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill, what do you plan on being in operation, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, my goal is the first of the year,
Wow, okay.
but that's a big chunk.
That's ambitious.
It is. It is.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll pray for no snow
Yeah.
or a late winter.
Once again, thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you.
guys.
Thanks a lot.
All right, next is Shane Ricks subdivision. He is not here, I don't think.
Oh, he's
He
here.
was.
Here?
He's here. I see him.
Yeah,
There he is.
he's there.
Oh, I know, I just didn't page forward on my, I need to keep paging forward and paging forward.
Just need more monitors, that's all.
No.
Well, you know what? My big monitor just doesn't have a, which I keep looking at, doesn't have a camera on it. It's just a
No
dumb
telling
monitor.
who you'll find if you keep paging forward, Maren.
Use the gallery view.
Whoa, stop paging forward. Who's that?
Use the gallery view, then you.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't all fit.
Well, then,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Yeah, we fit. It's a small one. There we go. Thank you. Any comments, questions on this, guys, before we,
No, not really.
Shane gave us the updated site plan, which is really all has the right of way out of there. It pretty much, you know what, I just was looking, but I can ask for this. The world famous, what Metabakken Eggers always forgets to do is the name of the people on the other side of Metacahans. Although we know who they are, but we can just ask that to be added. And the same on the other side of Route 209. I think I did ask that, but then Bill forgot to put it on. But we can add that into the. All right, so if there's nothing else that anybody sees that was forgotten there, we have ag statement. I have a couple other additions that I talked to Mary Lou about. That's why I got this to you a little bit later. I will get going. So this is Planning Board 2020-02 also, but for subdivision. Conditional final
No,
approval
okay.
for a minor subdivision for RV Associates / LLC, Shane Ricks president. It's a subdivision of SBL 76.2-5-3.118 of plus or minus a little over 20 acres into 2 lots. So the findings, planning board received zoning referral for a minor subdivision from code enforcement officer. The applicant met with the planning board and presented the subdivision map for review. The parcel is in the B zoning district. The applicant proposes the re-subdivision of SBL 76.2-5-3.118 into 2 parcels, a 16.64 piece, that's lot 2, and a little over a 4-acre piece, lot 3. The lands were previously subdivided March 20th of 2013. The existing plat is filed with Ulster County Clerk. The current use of the parcel is commercial, fallow fields, and woodlands. The town of Rochester B zoning districts are business districts, and this district is intended to provide areas for highway-related commercial uses requiring large land and high visibility. The lands subdivided are also located in the Ulster County Ag District and contain prime farmlands and lands of statewide significance. Ulster County Agricultural District land use encourages, and I quote, agricultural operations within the district are the priority land use and afford and afforded benefits and protections to promote the continuation of farming and the preservation of agricultural land. In practice, districts may include land that is actively farmed, idle, forested, as well as residential and commercial sector. The lands to be subdivided further lie within the FD overlay and AP overlay districts. The planning board discussed the preservation of the agricultural lands in the regular public meetings of 7/13 and 8/10/2020, and discussed the odd shape of new lot 3, creating a flag lot where it's not necessary. Applicant's justification was that the back corner could be good for a single family home, and that he planned to sell the remaining lot 2 in its entirety. The planning board chair stated that the proposed subdivision layout appears awkward and was not in the spirit of the ag district mandate, as it did not strive to preserve and create parcels that will be readily usable for agricultural uses. Applicant initially had a right of way from the proposed lot 3 to Route 209, but withdrew this plan element when the planning board required submittal of the proposed subdivision to the Department of Transportation, as this right of way would constitute access to Route 209, a DOT managed highway. Applicant previously subdivided lands in 2013 and placed a storage faculty. We should change that. Facility on the subdivided lands, which is lot, not lot 3, that's lot 1. Lot 2, right? Lot 2. The applicant stated that he had no plans to further subdivide the property. This is not a condition of approval. So I'm taking that out. The application was determined to meet the requirements of an unlisted seeker action. Negative declaration was determined upon review. A public hearing was held. The board reviewed if the proposed lot has safe and legal access. And the board concluded that the proposed lots will have adequate greater than or equal to 50-foot frontage on the town highway Medicahonts Road and the New York State DOT managed highway County Road 209. Board contacted the Tour highway supervisor, who respectively responded to the proposed lot 3, lot 3 access meets DOT and Town of Rochester access requirements. The parcels in the B zoning district. Upon review, the board concludes that the 2 proposed parcels meet or exceed the bulk standards requirements for the B zoning district. The board reviewed if the proposed lots could support water and septic. Perk tests for septic were performed by Medenbach and Edgar Civil Engineering and Land Surveying. The planning board received engineering certification that the new lot 3 can support water and septic. The board requested the final site plan show the proposed location of septic, well, access, ingress, egress, and structures to be detailed. Anything of commentary there?
No.
All right. Draft findings were read, discussed, plan, and do I have a motion to accept the findings?
I move to accept the findings.
A second.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
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 Against? And nobody's absent now. So Ulster County Planning Board I won't read the boilerplate, but the Ulster County Planning Board reviewed the proposal August 6th and returned written comments stating further subdivision activity. The applicant has created a flag lot to serve a proposed single-family home while leaving the remainder of the parcel for possible future subdivision or development. The advisory comment. Given the unusual configuration of the remainder of the parcel as a result of proposed flag lot, the town planning board should be presented as an understanding of the applicant's future plan development of the rest of the parcel, at least in a conceptual or sketch form, to have a better grasp of its future build-out potential. Responses, well, here's what I wrote. Comments are welcome. The planning board concurs that while the design of the subdivided lot meets the bulk standards of the B business district and access and lot frontage requirements, it is a suboptimal use of Ulster County Agricultural District and prime farmlands, nor does it optimize the use or follow the spirit of the business zoning districts. The applicant has stated no further plans for subdivision. So this is an advisory comment. We don't It isn't a required modification, so we don't have something that we need to follow. You know what? I missed. Mike, I could use your help here. Do I have to accept their commentary?
It's advisory, so you actually don't have to do anything with it.
That's what I did. I didn't put in a vote or anything, so. I
Yeah,
didn't
there's
wanna
no,
make-
there's, advisory means that they accepted the plan and they were just making a suggestion.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make
It's only
sure.
if it's
That's what I-
required mod that you have to either accept it or not.
Exactly. That's what I thought. Okay. So resolve, the town of Rochester Planning Board grants minor subdivision conditional final approval to, permitting the subdivision of land situated at 106 Metacahonts Road and Route 209, Accord, New York. The subdivision plan dated July 20th is approved with the following conditions. All fees due to the town of Rochester involved in the application shall be paid in full prior to the chair's signature on the final plat. The applicant shall present a final plat for signature. I spoke with Mary Lou on the added stuff here this afternoon. The following plat notes shall be included on the recorded final plat map. 1, any further subdivision shall be treated as a major subdivision under Town of Rochester Subdivision Law 125. And 2, no further flag lot shall be allowed. And 3, no further lots shall have access from the proposed flag lot 3 right-of-way. That all goes back to our lot standards and our subdivision standards. While this was determined by the code enforcement officer to be a minor subdivision, if you look at our subdivision code 125-12, it's a re-subdivision, so it could have been categorized as a major subdivision. So we're putting it in to clarify in case we're not all around, and to clarify for the code enforcement officer that any further subdivisions will be a major subdivision, not a series of minor.
So Maren, I'm confused by some of what you just said. I know it's under the advice.
I
of
know
counsel.
it's,
Well, let me just tell you, going back to page 3, in the findings, number 8, we say here, the applicant stated he has no plans to further subdivide the property. This will be a condition of approval.
I took the condition of approval off because we can't make it a condition of approval because it meets the,
Okay, so
Yeah.
that sentence, that part of the
that
sentence.
sentence I took off, yes.
Okay, so can you explain a little bit more what you just told us? Number 1,
Yeah, it's painful.
I'm sure.
So if you look in our subdivision law, if you all have it handy, but we have procedures and requirements for minor subdivisions. So we just act on whatever the code enforcement officer, if they send it as a minor subdivision, it's the code enforcement officer, it's Jerry Davis's decision. So they made this decision that it was a minor subdivision. But in talking to Mary Lou and re-talking with them, they said, yeah, it depends how you read our 125-12, which is not terribly clear. If it's not clear, you err on the side of the applicant. So what it says is the following procedures and requirements shall apply to minor subdivisions only. All other subdivisions and re-subdivisions, regardless of the total number of lots involved, shall be processed as major subdivisions according to the procedures and requirements specified in here. Because it is a re-subdivision, it was already subdivided to have the storage facility on there. It could have been interpreted as a major subdivision, but it wasn't. So to make it clarified, Mary Lou said we should put it in that if Shane comes back again, like you want to subdivide things that front 209, which is completely within the business district, it would have to be considered a major subdivision.
Okay,
It would be another little minor one, another little minor one, another little minor one. Is that
Okay.
clear?
okay, now it is, yes, thanks.
The other thing on flag lots Flag lots are usually used because you want to get to the back of a long, thin property, and quite often have a shared driveway going through it that then goes, one part of the shared driveway goes back to the flag lot, then it goes to two other lots, and you have a driveway maintenance agreement, a shared driveway agreement. In this case, it's a flag lot that's being created just for a flag lot. There's not sort of a need because you could have ample footage.
Access, yeah.
And so because you can only have, because this was already subdivided once, it's already met, in Mary Lou's opinion, the 3-lot standard. So it should not have other drives that would come off of that right of way of the flag lot.
Gotcha.
So like if that was going up next to the storage, if you did 2 smaller lots there, not to do more smaller lots there.
Okay.
Number 3, the final plat shall show the proposed location of septic well and access. The access is there, and structures for the proposed lot 3. So we need to see the idea of where the house would be. And we always ask for this, and the septic and the well. And all required local, county, state, or federal permits shall be secured for the current and future use of these lands. This expires 180 days from its approval date unless the final plat is presented and signed by the chairman. Period may be extended for 2 additional 90-day periods upon application to resolution by the planning board. We also grant minor subdivision conditional final approval permitting the subdivision of these lands upon satisfactory completion of the conditions of approval 1 through 3, and grant me the authority to certify the conditions have been met and review, sign, and date the plat without further resolution at such time. Effective approval shall file in the office of Ulster County Clerk such approved plat bearing the chairman's signature and any other related documents within 62 days from the date of signature, or such approval shall be deemed to expire without further notice in accordance with New York State Town Law 276. And the owner shall have the responsibility to return 3 Ulster County Clerk certified copies of the filed plat and any other related documents to the Town of Rochester Planning Board within 30 days of such filing. Any other comments or questions?
No, I think it covers it pretty good.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to adopt the approval.
I'll second it.
Let's do a roll call. Brianna, since we're in distance.
Chair Lindstrom,
I'm a no because I don't think it does good lots for business and the ag district, even though it's completely compliant with everything.
okay. Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Buckbinder,
Yes.
Mr. Sorofsky,
I'm going to vote yes. I also will note that I agree with the chair's assessment that it's not great, but I feel like since it completely meets all of our explicit requirements, that I should vote yes.
Mr. Pinsky,
Yes.
Ms. Maloney.
Yes.
Okay,
All right,
Hey,
that's it.
Maren,
Yeah,
this is Shane. I just wanted to make a comment. I had expressed in one of the earlier meetings that the reason that Shape It Out lot went around the storage facilities because we're planning on the people that have the storage facility of purchasing it and then it becoming one big lot. So that kind of takes the, the talk about having an odd shaped lot going around that storage unit off the table. But
that's
it's not
true, but
different.
I agree, but pretend the storage guys keel over and die and get out of the storage business and get bought by Amazon. I still have to work with what's there.
Right.
So ideally for me, it would have been like the back part where the storage, that just becomes one big lot there, and then the
Yeah.
storage would have bought an L instead of a U. Because the
No,
front could do,
I understand what you mean, but that was our plan for making it like that.
So I got your plan and all, and then if the storage guys, like you sell it and you don't own it anymore, who knows what the storage guys will end up trying to do or do. Let's pretend they do buy it. So this gives them some degree of guidance, at least going forward, that, you know, you got to think harder and do a major subdivision and what the scoop is. You know, it puts some precedent in there so they think when when and if they would ever subdivide it again, because it is subdividable quite a bit still along 209.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and the other thing, as far as the agricultural land, the land is terrible land for growing stuff on.
Well, in theory, you still could have sheep or goats or
Well, it's
goats
dry.
eat everything.
It's dry clay with rocks in it, so it's terrible for, you know, about all it grows good is weeds.
So that I can agree with, but you know, I sort of have to go with the fact that it's in it. It should be de-ag district probably, or and it also is listed as prime farmland and farmland of statewide significance. So I sort of have to go with those listings.
Right, and a big part of the land is woods too, which woods is not farmland to start with.
Well, they go. I think Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, but they go by soil type, correct? So if you cleared all the woods.
They may, but there's two.
Ag district has nothing to do with zoning or soil type, but soil type is what determines ag productivity classification. I'd also just note this entire conversation is immaterial since we've already voted on
Exactly.
approving
Okay.
subdivision.
Thank you.
It is. All right, guys, we have a couple other items that can be done very quickly. One is we had a referral from the town board because there is a zoning committee which is reviewing call it affectionately the ZRC, reviewing our zoning code, hopefully to make it clearer how you do like the questions that you had, Rick, is so it isn't as confusing. What is major, what is minor, and what's going on. So doing some specific word changes and such. But one thing is to officially, this came by across our plate in 2018. It's back again, and the town board is working on it, is to officially adopt and amend the comprehensive plan with the natural heritage plan, the open space plan, and I pulled the wrong one up, and the the historic resources reconnaissance plan. I actually just pulled up our old one. So did everybody get a chance to read it?
I have to say that I was very impressed with the information contained in all of that documentation, actually.
I know, there's a lot of stuff there.
There's a lot of stuff.
You look at a lot of the mapping, it's quite impressive. They mapped pretty much.
The maps are really terrific.
So
they're very useful. They'll be useful to us going forward if it gets
exactly
part of the plan.
Yeah, I like the groundwater, the low yield areas and stuff like that. That's very good to know in advance.
Exactly. It's very helpful. So when you go through some of these applications where you didn't have something before, I'm going to try to codify it to some degree also within more within the zoning code, that you can say, yes, that is good subdividable, or yes, that is a good place for the house, or no, that can't have, the density of special events. What we have a lot more that we can refer back to.
Fully support encouraging the town board to adopt it.
All right, so unless anybody has any prose change, I will send out the letter that's here, which encourages them to adopt all three of them.
Sounds good to me.
I'll second Sam's motion.
All right,
I'll
guys,
second the motion.
all in favor, let's do it official. Aye.
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 Against?
Aye.
Then the other thing that I sent out was, we have a little bit of a littering and dumpster problem, but we can't send that letter as the planning board, because it includes other items beside just zoning, like how far back the dumpster is from a house, or all dumpsters must have the name and address on there. So I'm just gonna do it as this officially becomes you can all hang up right now, because I'm just gonna do it as a individual citizen. Any citizen can send anything. I don't know if anybody wants to come along as citizen number 2 or 3, but since we went to the effort to put together.
I will, but so during town board public meeting, right?
We can just mail it to you just send
Mhm.
it to the town board members, as Maren Lindstrom thinks we have a problem with dumpsters and littering, and here's some idea for code. Because everybody in the general
But when you
public
said
always
about,
does that.
when you said second citizen, so I should speak the town board verbally?
No, you could just be Maren Lindstrom and Zorian Pinsky send it.
Okay.
I'll be a co-sponsor.
Would you mind?
On there too.
I'll join.
Me too.
So we're all co-sponsors as
All
just
right.
as happy citizens.
So
Sorry.
are we,
Yeah.
so we're not going to
Active, as an
discuss.
active citizen, not happy, active.
Active.
Lauren, quick question for, you referenced the zoning committee. I know they've been, the rezoning committee or the re-upping of zoning. Our letters or our letter from years ago that we sent off on the recommendations for solar, and there were a couple of other things. That went to them already, right?
The first that we reviewed ages ago for short-term rentals, that has gone. It'll be coming back actually for the planning board to rehab a look, and they've already gone through that. A public hearing, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, is hopefully for October.
Possibly, probably not, because Mary Lou wants me to circulate after the town board look through it. Mary Lou wants me to send that version to Becky and Jerry first before. So it's not on tomorrow night's agenda to set it for public hearing. We will be, hopefully, if Michael Coleman and I can finish doing the mapping tomorrow morning, we probably will have the critical environmental areas on for public hearing in October. Probably more likely the short-term rental will either be later October or November public hearing.
And Rick, thanks, Mike. And
Yep.
Rick, you're right. The solar changes that we went through, the ZRC re-looked at them, added a couple other tweaks and such, actually made some of the stuff stricter than what we came up with, added some more clarifications. That is going to the board tomorrow or so after Mike and I sort of beautified it. It's going to go to the town board. So they'll look at that. So that will be in the process also.
Okay, terrific.
Yeah.
So I know we're not, since we can't send the littering thing as the planning board, maybe it's not worthwhile to discuss it too much. But there were one small point that came up when I was reading it was you have to apply for a waiver if you're outside of certain zonings to have a dumpster. And there were reasons suggested for why a waiver might be granted. I think an appropriate reason to include in that list would be if you're running an agricultural business. I think that should be made clear. And then the other thing, perhaps this proposed or suggested code change would not be the place for this, but I do think that if we're increasing, sort of enforcement or adding new penalties for littering, it may be worthwhile to think, and maybe again, this is probably more for the town board than for us, but to think about why people might be littering, and if we're kind of adding penalties without adding solutions. I know there was the suggestion to add some sort of like municipal trash receptacles, but I just thought it might be worthwhile as part of a cover letter to suggest that the town board think about what might be causing people to litter, and thinking about ways to de-incentivize littering at the same time that we're increasing suggesting an increase of enforcement. If we do those two things, I would also sign on to the letter, and it would be a de facto planning board suggestion, I guess.
Exactly. I'll add both of those. I'll add both those in, Sam, and shoot it back out. And
Cool.
if anybody else can, of our de facto, just active citizens,
Great.
just write a comment directly to me, and I can add it in. But I will
Okay.
I'll add both of those.
Sounds good.
And that's it, kids.
All right.
Thank you very
I
much.
move to adjourn.
Thank you
I
so much.
second.
All in favor?
Yay!
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
night, everybody.
Bye-bye.